Hey guys, today I'm back with another review. Today it's going to be on the InfinityMice, the Duel pad. This mouse pad was sent out for review, but like always that doesn't really affect anything that I really say in these reviews. Starting off with the specs of the mouse and the actual price of the mouse, it does come in at 490 by 490, so a square size, and is 3.5 millimeters thick. The base on this mouse pad I want to say is in between soft and mid, but leans closer towards mid. It is a firmer surface than something like a Saturn Pro, which I believe happens to be an X soft. As for the price, this mousepad is 50 USD on Lethal Gaming Gear's website. For this mousepad, I actually believe that is a pretty solid price. It is, I want to say, $10 more than a GSR Rouge, but I'll get into that later in the video. In terms of packaging on a mousepad, it's also pretty solid. It does come flat packed since it does feature a Poron-like base. The mousepad box just basically shows off the artwork on the front of the mousepad, the InfinityMice logo on the back, and just some specs. My unit did come double boxed. The actual mousepad box did come a little bit squished, but that didn't really affect the mousepad in any way. The quality on this mousepad is also really solid. It comes close to a Artisan pad. It does feature a Poron-like base. It does lean more towards feeling more rubbery. I'll have closer shots on screen right now comparing this to something like a Artisan Poron and a Lethal Gaming Gear Poron. The stitched edges are also super thin and minimal and actually are level to the surface. I haven't noticed any fraying on that either. The actual design on the surface, super clear, doesn't look fuzzy or anything. There is some jagged lines, but I'm pretty sure that's just how the artwork is meant to look like. In terms of how the actual surface feels, this is a very smooth, untextured control pad. It does lean more into the faster side of things when you're talking about a control pad. I want to say it's about the same level of speed as a Saturn Pro. The Saturn Pro does have a little bit more tug when you're doing fast flicks or just micro adjusting. So that's why this just feels a bit more faster, because micro adjustments on this pad feel pretty effortless. Initial friction is more on the medium side of things, and your stopping power I want to say is about the same level as a Saturn Pro. But all that depends on what kind of mouse feed you're using. On the Aria I have Tiger Eyes, and it does feel like a faster pad. Same with the Def Adder and the Viper V2 Pro. These are both using stock feet, and they feel actually pretty fast on this mouse pad. But these mice with these feet also feel more fast on the Saturn Pro. One thing I've noticed is the Pulsar X2 mouse feet make this mousepad feel a lot slower than I like it to be, and that's the same case for the Saturn Pro. Like I mentioned before, what mouse feed you use on your mice really affect how this mousepad feels. I've been using the Viper V2 Pro and the Def Adder stock feed on this mousepad, and it's been a pretty great experience. This mousepad has replaced my Venus Pro as my main mousepad, but only with these certain mice with these certain mice feet. If I was using something like a Pulsar X2 with some pretty garbage feet, I'll probably go back to a Venus Pro, but for now this is going to be remaining on my desk. Like I said, I have been maining this mousepad, have been ranking up in Apex. Tracking on this mousepad feels pretty great, and flick shots and static shooting also feels pretty great on this mousepad. So in my collection, the closest mousepad that actually comes to the Duel is the Saturn Pro. The Saturn Pro definitely has more texture, it's not as smooth. It does have more control than the Duel, but it also has more tugginess, which I actually dislike. This just has a very sleek, smooth surface. Like I said, micro adjustments are pretty effortless on this mousepad and all that. In terms of quality, I want to say the Saturn Pro has thinner stitching. It does have a real Poron base, unlike the Infinity Duel, which has a Poron-like surface. To me, it just feels like a rubber base with some Poron-like features to it, but in terms of performance, they both stick on your desk pretty well. In terms of which pads I actually recommend, if you're a Valorant main, go for the Saturn Pro. If you're something that likes playing a lot of games like Valorant, Apex, you go to Call of Duty, then the Infinity Duel is a pretty good pad for all of those games. So like I mentioned in my last video, I'm going to be starting a rating system for each one of my products that I get in hand. And that rating system covers the aesthetics of the mousepad, the overall quality of the mousepad, the overall surface feel, and then pricing and availability. And this is the first mousepad that I can actually give 5 out of 5 to each one of those points, and I'm going to explain why. So on to the first point, and that's going to be aesthetics. It is a 5 out of 5 just because for me personally, this design is super fire. I like how there's a mix of blues and the reds and how it all clashes together. And the overall design of the mouse pads of the two mice on the actual pad, I think is it's designed pretty well, and in a way that it really doesn't clash or anything. It's just mixed in perfectly. So in terms of the actual quality of the mouse pad, it is also a 5 out of 5. It is a technically Artisan-like quality. It does feature a pour-on-like base, but compared to a Artisan or a pour-on found on Lethal Gaming Gear, it does still stick to your desk extremely well. And then the stitching that is level to the surface is also super nice. It's super tight and minimal. The actual surface, the actual quality of it feels pretty good. And the actual quality of the print is also super good. In terms of the actual surface, it is also a 5 out of 5. This mousepad actually replaced my Saturn Pro just for the surface alone. So you can see how much I actually really like this surface if I decide to use something like this over Venus Pro as my main mousepad. In terms of pricing and availability, this mousepad is $50 USD on Lethal Gaming Gear's website. It's also available on InfinityMice's website. I'm not sure if it goes for the same price or not, but still, if you can find this mousepad between $50 to $60, then I think it's a pretty good price for it. So yeah, in terms of availability, it's available in 2 places, and I'm pretty sure both of those places ship to US and Canada, and I think Europe, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's why I'm giving this a 5 out of 5 in terms of pricing and availability. Now on to my recommendations of this mousepad, and I want to say I 100% do recommend this mousepad, as like I said, this has been my main mousepad since I got it. It's just that good, but I would really get it if you're using faster feet. If you're going to be getting like a Pulsar X2 Mini and combining it with this mousepad, I think that's going to be a pretty slow experience, something that I don't really personally enjoy. But if you're using Tiger Ice feeds like I have on the Aria, or stock feeds like I have on the Death Adder and the Viper V2 Pro, then that's going to be a fantastic experience. Anyways, that's all for me. Like I mentioned in the last video, I did make a Discord server. I'll be dropping a link down in the description, so I'd really appreciate if you joined. If you did like this video, please drop a like and maybe a sub. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Peace out.